I don't really know what the hell I wanted to talk about in this video. Whiskey always helps with thinking, right? I was actually watching this show on TV earlier tonight. It's on the Travel Channel. It's called Mark and Ollie, Living with the Machigenga, which is a tribe in Peru. A very remote tribe in Peru. Tonight was the season finale where they had to leave, and oh, it was so sad when Mark had to leave his monkey, and the monkey was just like screeching, like, "No, don't leave me." I felt really sorry for that monkey. But the show got me thinking about indigenous peoples. And when I think about indigenous peoples, I usually think about the Yagans. They are one of the most fascinating peoples in the world, I think. Darwin was awfully fascinated by them too. Well, Darwin was lucky that he got to see them in their natural state. I saw them living in tin houses in a little village outside the town of Puerto Williams, which, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, their houses aren't really any worse than the average house in town, so they're all made of tin. So getting back to the Yagans, there's only one full-blooded, for lack of a better term, Yagan left. Her name is Abuela Cristina Calderon. She's in her 70s. She's a lovely woman. I used to see her just about every day, walking up the road to go up to Simon's, the grocery store, to get food and whatever, bread. Simone made the best bread. I have a basket that Abuela Cristina wove. Let me go and get it. So here's the basket that Abuela Cristina made. You can see the fine weaving. They do it with a little sort of a needle type thing to tuck the reeds through. The needle is made out of the leg bone of an upland goose. I'll put a picture of an upland goose just for the hell of it. It's something that's very special to me because it was made by the last Yagan Indian in the whole world. I didn't really get to know her very well because she doesn't speak English and I don't speak Spanish all that well. So I never had an in-depth conversation with her or anything. Our conversation tended to be, she would be walking up the street and I was out in the yard cutting the grass, or weeds mostly. There were a few little patches of grass that I also cut, but I had the South American lawnmower, also known as a machete, and cutting down all the weeds in the yard. That was fun. And she comes along and stops, and I say, "Hola, hola, Abuela Cristina," and she's like, "Hola, ¿estás cortando?" Like, sí, estoy cortando. Like, "Ah, bueno." Then she goes on. Another time I was chopping firewood and she comes by and says, "Ah, estás picando leña." Sí, estoy picando. "Ah, bueno." So that was the main sort of conversation I had with her. She was a nice lady, though. I don't know if I had any kind of point to make about this, or just wanted to tell the story because I didn't have anything else to talk about. Excuse me. I have hiccups. I need more whiskey. I guess the point I would make is just that it's kind of sad that you know, the Yagans don't live the way they used to. They still make baskets to sell to tourists. That's about it. And that's one of the most interesting things about them is the way they lived for 7,000 years. They lived basically naked, with fires and canoes. They didn't really have houses or anything. Apparently, they might occasionally make a sort of teepee-like structure with koiway branches, which is it's a broadleaf evergreen, a member of the southern beech family, Leftofawesome. It's the same tree that they used the bark to make their canoes out of. It's called betuloides because the bark is sort of similar to birch bark, which is what the North American Indians made canoes out of. But yeah, they didn't really have houses or anything, and they were just naked in this place where the climate is not warm. I was there in the middle of summer. Well, in the early part of the summer, I guess. It was just around the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. And then they had this horrible heat wave and drought. And during the heat wave, it would get up to like 65, 68 degrees in the daytime, and this drought, you know, it would only rain once every 2 days. It was really weird, very strange weather they were having. Normally it rains every day and it doesn't get that warm. The highest temperature ever recorded was back in the 60s, and it was like 80 degrees. That was the highest temperature ever recorded in that region. On the other hand, the winters don't get all that cold, but they get, you know, below freezing. They get down in the 20s. But the Yagans never wore any clothes. They would sit by the fire, they would paddle around in their canoes, and they would put stones in the bottom of the canoe and carry a fire with them in the boat. And they would fish for mussels. Occasionally they would hunt seals or maybe penguins, guanacos. And they didn't make any sort of decorative objects. They never wore, you know, anything decorative. They never like wove, you know, decorative patterns into their baskets. They never made anything like that, which I found fascinating. And they didn't seem to have any real sort of spiritual, religious sort of beliefs. Which is another, you know, that's very unusual among, well, anybody really. If somebody died, they would just leave the body there, wherever it was, and just not go back to that place for 20 years. So I guess that's probably enough. I could go on, but I won't. Sarah, I'll see you tomorrow, and Kieran, I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.